cosmos, let's go. This one place in our solar system is where all of the people have lived. For the whole time, we've been people. Can't match just think something else. We have always thought that Earth is so big. That it's best to divide it into smaller bits. What does it say? Mine, mine. Then this is my side. Oh, who says that? My side. Who gets in their car and says, this is my seat. Don't get my side.
Me.
Yeah, I thought so. It seems we humans have always fought each other over space. Though really, Earth is not so big. Not compared to, well, space. Shall we take a detour and see for ourselves? Then let's put on our space helmets, turn this into a space car, and head out toward the moon. Did anybody see the moon last night?
Yeah.
It was a full moon. Wasn't it really cool? It was so bright. It is 250,000 miles away, so it will take almost a year to drive there. All speeds and distances calculated at 37 miles per hour. The average speed humans drive at. Who knows what the speed limit on the highway is? 65, so it's almost twice that, right? On this trip, it's important to keep checking the mirror to see what we're up to back on Earth. So, if we were already at the moon, it would almost be a year ago at home. How old would you be a year ago?
8.
9.
And we'd see Earth much as we left it at the start of the 21st century, where everyone seems distracted and can't agree what to do next. This way to Venus, this way to Mars. If we took a left turn at the moon toward the sun, it would be a 78-year drive from Earth to Venus, our closest planet. Have you guys studied the solar system yet?
No.
No.
You
Just solar system.
Meanwhile, back on Earth, 78 years ago, it was the middle of the 20th century, and the whole planet was fighting, hopefully for the last time. Kind of looks like a video game to me.
It is.
Kinda? If we kept heading toward the sun, it would be a 150-year drive to Mercury. Meanwhile, back on Earth, 150 years ago, it was the late 1800s, and a few small countries were racing to divide up and own a valuable bit of land and the people in it.
Burn it.
Right? Do you see it? I see a British flag. Colonies? Have you guys studied the colonies yet?
No.
No.
I've heard of it.
If back at the moon we made a right turn instead of the left and headed toward Mars, it would take about 170 years to get there. Do you know anybody 170 years old?
That must be a man that lives for 1,000 years.
Right? How old do you know somebody right now that how old they are?
160.
Really? Wow. I'd like to meet them. Meanwhile, back on Earth, 170 years ago, it was the middle of the 1800s, and 4 different empires were fighting over a small bit of land that stuck out into a small sea. Back on our original course, it would be a 283-year drive to reach the sun. Make sure you have air conditioning going and your sunglasses on. Ooh, I can't wait for having the air conditioning and sunglasses. I think it's better than heat. How many of you like air conditioning over heat? Me too.
Aw.
Meanwhile, back on Earth 283 years ago, it was the middle of the 1700s. And some humans were about to start fighting each other
War.
after sailing across an ocean and fighting with humans who were already there. Now, if we made that right turn toward Mars and kept going, we would be driving for 500 years from Earth before we saw anything else. When we eventually did, it would probably be Ceres, the largest object in the asteroid belt. Do you guys know what asteroids are?
Mm-hmm.
Like rocks.
Like rocks
That fall like.
from space, right?
And hits Earth.
Have we actually had an asteroid hit Earth?
Yes.
We have?
What you mean? Only with the dinosaurs?
Oh, nice! You guys are smarter than me. I was gonna say I think they've hit other planets, but you're right with the dinosaurs. How many of you guys have gone to Dinosaur State Park? And is there a dinosaur place near here?
No, they can eat my leg if they want to.
Have you seen a dinosaur bone?
Yeah.
Are they really big?
They're really.
They taste good.
They taste good.
They feel weird.
Checking in the rearview mirror, we see that back on Earth 500 years ago, the first people from one big bit of land arrived at the other big bit of land and ran riot. Looks like the Aztecs back there, and a snake and a pelican. I hope you're comfortable and brought snacks because it's going to take us 1,200 years to drive to Jupiter.
What?
1,200 years. I know, I was looking at your math on your table. Are we at 4 digits? With decimal points?
7.
With long division?
6.
With grouping?
Face value.
Place value. All right. Back on Earth 1,200 years ago, it was the 800 and something. And the Vikings had finished fighting everyone around them. So they built boats to find new people to fight.
Sea bees.
But look at that. It like kind of broke off there. That looks like a face, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Sea bees.
But let's keep going because it's only a short 2,400 year drive to Saturn.
Who?
Saturn? Saturn's another planet. How many planets are in the solar system?
Around the world. Around the world.
Is it 8 or 9? Uranus is out, right? Or Pluto's out?
Depends
Pluto's
on the day.
All right. Nice job. Good call. Meanwhile, back on Earth, 2.5 millennia ago, some people were building the largest wall ever to be made so they could keep other people out. Do we know what wall that is? China. Yeah. Have you ever been there?
I know.
No, but I have pictures of it. Yeah, we were.
I've seen pictures of it too. I
Whoa,
haven't.
wait. Have we been to China?
Yeah.
I've been
We've
to
been
China.
to China through
No.
a virtual field trip.
You haven't. I was
virtual
gonna say
tour.
I've seen
China.
it on a screen.
You're lying to you.
That's cool.
We've been to China.
Considering
We
how
haven't been
far
to
we've
the real
already
China
driven,
thing.
we're still less than halfway to Uranus, which is just over a 5,000-year drive. Meanwhile, back on Earth 5,000 years ago, people discovered using animals and metal made fighting much more effective.
How are they alive still?
So they're not alive, we're just remembering.
How?
Or saying that if we got there really quickly, that's what it would be like back there. Isn't that kind of weird?
That
Do you guys know
probably
what
already
daylight
happened.
savings time is?
Yeah.
Do you know when daylight savings time is going to happen?
No.
This weekend. So what happens on I think it's always a Saturday, right? So daylight savings time is when we move the hour before on the clock or the hour back. It's fall back and you gain an hour and you move forward and you lose an hour, right? So sometimes if you travel, if you get an airplane or you go on a train or a bus and you go across the country, it might be 10 o'clock here and then it might be 9 o'clock in the Midwest and then it might be 6 a.m., right? Do you ever call anybody in California? If I called my friend in California right now, it'd be 6:20 a.m.
That's early.
Right? It's early. So this is the same idea, except when you leave Earth and you go out into space, it's not hours or minutes. It's years of distance. It's kind of neat. Didn't you guys run? Runners? Distance runners? You know, it's like when you start a relay race and you get to your point, but you leave everybody else behind, you keep going, and you're all the way here and they're back here. That distance. Yeah. It's really pretty empty this far out. It'll take just over 8,000 years to drive to Neptune. Back on Earth, it is 6,000 BCE, and the sea is still rising from the end of the last ice age. And there were people fighting with sticks and stones.
Only stones can win.
I only wonder one thing about this book.
Right. It probably is the wrong size you're picking up, or he's super strong.
I'm only wondering one thing. Are they gonna have to Pluto? They are.
Oh, see? Yay! If we carry on after driving for 11,000 years, we finally reach Pluto. Pluto's kind of pretty,
Pluto, the big red dog.
right?
It's purple.
It's purple. Meanwhile, back on Earth, 11,000 years ago, there are fewer people on Earth than currently live in Ireland, around 6 million. And they are much too busy surviving to bother anyone with fighting. That fighting's not really a great thing. Kind of like in this survival mode. Well, that's us. We've reached the end of our solar system. Just one of billions of solar systems.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep going? Because the next stop is Alpha Centauri, just a 77 million year drive away.
If they go into those little blue wormholes, they'll get sucked in and go to a different dimension.
Right? What do they call? Is it called a wormhole?
Yeah. A black hole.
A black hole in the galaxy, right? In the Milky.
holes
We're
are
part of the
black.
Milky Way galaxy, I think.
There
See,
may
this
be
is
a
where I shouldn't
void.
talk about it. I am not a teacher. I should not be talking
Might
about
be a void.
but the Milky Way. Have you guys ever gone to a museum that has
Yeah.
the solar system up on a big dome?
No.
I don't know if they do that anymore.
Kenny
Somebody was
has
telling me
it.
there used to be one here in the
Kenny never likes planet.
Niantic, New London area, which sounds pretty cool. Or do you guys just want to go home? I mean, 77,000 years away. I kind of like. Oh, I think it looks like they chose to go home. I think they were tired. What do you think?
Yeah, the kids fell asleep.
Yeah.
What is this?
No matter where you travel, it's always nice to get home. Neil Armstrong on returning to Earth on Apollo 11, 1969. Do we know who Neil Armstrong was?
Yeah. I know.
And astronaut, yeah. And there's a picture of all the places that we traveled.
It looks like a racetrack.
At least they didn't go to the void.
It looks like a racetrack.
Pluto's a fun planet from anything.
No, the void is a dark black hole.
Yeah. And a racetrack.
That's pretty cool.
Pluto's the farthest.
Well, there we have it. Our time travel through space.
Thank you. All right, questions, comments, compliments.
Oh my god, that's so cool!
You're awesome. That's so
I
great.
said Pluto at the right time.
You said Pluto at the right time. I love it.
Pluto, the big red dog. But it's purple.
What's your favorite book? Yes, honey.
I thought Andromeda was the next galaxy from our galaxy.
Maybe it is because maybe that. Did they say the next one was the other one?
No, it didn't say that. It said
What did it
something
say?
else. But
It said Alpha Centauri. And you, what did you think it was? Andromeda?
yeah,
Dominus.
that's the closest galaxy from us.
Huh.
The closest